Welcome to the Podski. What? Ooh, yeah.
You understand, baby?
Dig it?
Let me tell you another thing.
First name John, last name Baker. Uh-huh. Brother.
Hello and welcome to the Podski. I'm your host, the man of 1,000 gimmicks, John Baker. It is episode 43. So shout out to the King, Richard Petty. Andretti, you know all about him.
I know all about him.
We got the three-man booth back together. Mongoose, Andretti. We are coming back with a WWE Backlash review ski. And what a show that was this weekend. We're going to jump into it here in a little bit. But what's going on, guys? Welcome back.
So you're gonna hear construction stuff in the background because we're getting work done on the house. So you're gonna hear probably a bunch of drills and pounding and stuff like that. So I apologize in advance for that.
Oh, you're good. We know you're moving rate shops.
You hear a bunch of drills and pounding and stuff. If you roll past the Mongoose Den around 4:30 a.m. on the right Thursday, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I try to get out of your house by 5, but I know you're still in the shower, and I try to just get out of there as quick as I can.
Hey, really quick, what do we got? 43. The only thing I could think of stands out really big is Troy Palomala. What else we got here? Famous 43s.
I've got a shout out. I got to keep the new tradition going here about giving shout outs on the former Forest Hills Rangers legends. Number 43, Mark Groh, who was a good friend of me and the Groz, and the Groz's older brother Tommy. Groh tragically passed away about a year and a half ago. So probably the best tight end the school's ever had. Great dude. Always had the mullet. Always had the chicks. Just a great dude to be around all the time. Always funny stories with that guy, and always a barrel of laughs. And we've known that guy since we were little kids, man. And he passed away of cancer about a year and a half ago. And it definitely not a good thing. But we think about Grow every day, man. We talk about Grow almost every day. So we're sad about that. But we're the legend. The legend definitely lives on in our hearts, and it's definitely a guy that made a huge impact on all of us for sure.
Well, that's awesome, man. Much respect, Grow. I remember when I didn't know him very well personally, aside, honestly, from a lot of just stories and things that you guys would say from times growing up. But a nice little tribute there. I'll tell you what, man, and to put Grow over here even better, I'm looking through this list of famous 43s. And aside from Grow, Dennis Eckersley, Troy Palomala, Darren Sproles is all right. And there ain't much else going on here. Ralph Kiner's Pirate Hall of Fame. There we go. Not to give away our location or anything like that.
I don't want to steal Andretti's gimmick here, but we got there are some birthdays on dropping on the show this week.
Yes.
Yeah, do you have them, or do you want me to do them this week?
Last week I felt like after we did last week's show, I gave too many, so I was only going to name one this week because the show's going to come out on the 11th on Thursday. So I really wanted to give a quick birthday shout out to a guy that probably loves the podcast, and that's Billy Kidman.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
Happy birthday, Kidman. I have a few. So
we talk about Kidman. You talk about people that always had the chicks around them. I mean, hats off to that guy, man, for the Torrie Wilson years. Billy, we were living vicariously through you, man. We still are. You were a hell of a talent. We love you, man. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, seriously. Fuck you, Billy.
You guys want your tie into that? How about this? So Billy Kidman's birthday on 5/11, and the numerology, the angel number 511 suggests that new love is on the horizon. It also symbolizes spiritual awakening and overall spiritual growth. And so, look, man, he was christened, and for that, I'm sure he is forever thankful. So if we don't think that that our destiny isn't written into stars, just look at Billy Kidman.
Amen to
that. Another happy birthday shout out to Bobby Roode. Happy birthday, Bobby Roode.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a guy that deserved better than he got in the WWE. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Mongoose will know this one. Happy birthday, Ace Hood.
And happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
Big shout out to Ace Hood.
I don't know who Ace Hood is.
Yes, you do. I'm so hood. Salvador Dali. Happy birthday, Salvador Dali.
And happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
I don't mean to throw you off, John. I literally don't know who Ace Hood is. I'm looking him up right now.
Was that the guy that got into the brawl out with CM Punk?
That's Ace.
Yeah,
Whatever.
He bit Kenny Omega.
He
Was that
did.
the guy,
After-
that guy that
Ace
threw
Hood
the
bit
dog
Kenny
across
Omega.
the ring?
So did Ace Hood say I'm so hood?
No, that was his song. He was a part of that with DJ Khaled. It was DJ Khaled's song.
I know that song. So that's so weird that Ace Hood is in that song.
I'm
That
pretty
literally
sure-
be that would just be like I don't know. I don't even know what the comparison is there. I mean, I guess it'd be like Thuggish Ruggish Bone, and it's a Bone Thugs and Harmony song, right? Like that makes sense. I don't know. I was completely thrown off because I didn't know that Ace Hood was a shoot dude. No,
Wait, no, that's on me. That foul on the play, 0 for 1. It's Trick Daddy and Plies. They're in I'm So Hood. I got that mixed up with Cash Flow.
Okay. Yep.
Cash Flow was
I know the Bugatti song. Only because I literally know the something Bugatti. That was.
I mean, unless all these people were in Whitesnake, I have no idea what the hell you guys are talking about right now.
I completely understand that. All right, take me back in. I'm paying attention again. Let's rock.
No, we got what Thursday is. You're not going to believe this. What a great day Thursday is. National Eat What You Want Day, and I'm
there
all
we
for that.
go. I'm digging that one.
This isn't your electric chair meal, all right? But this is your Eat What You Want Day meal. Off the top of your head, what do you got, Baker?
Pizza.
I want. Give me the restaurant. Give me a little bit more specific.
Okay, so probably if I'm gonna eat whatever I want and I have like legitimately zero, I have limited.
No feel bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna feel real bad. I'm gonna go in the breakfast. I'm gonna go a whole box of Fruity Pebbles in the mixing bowl with milk. Lunch probably gonna go. Probably will go with fast food. So I would probably go with like a double Whopper with large with a Diet Coke, and then for dinner I'm going pizza and wings.
That's pretty good.
What you got, Andretti?
I think breakfast. I'm gonna go. Give me a whole box of home style Eggos with butter and a large orange juice. And then for lunch, I'm gonna get about 3 or 4 slices of cheese pizza and a big Diet Coke. And then for dinner, probably a big bowl of spaghetti for dinner with the cheese on there, the cheese gimmick, and the red peppers, and nice glass of rosé.
Nice. So since it's Eat What You Want Day, I'm going. Interesting. You said Eggos because I am going. Whatever name your brand. Frozen waffle. Obviously toasted frozen waffle, with syrup and Cool Whip on top of them. Okay, so yep. So that's my breakfast.
Man,
My
I haven't
lunch.
had that in so long.
Oh, brother. Lunch straight over to the Asian cafe or whatever, and I'm getting me a lunch, General Tso's chicken with pork fried rice, an egg roll, and then a wonton soup.
Ooh.
And then, and then my dinner is I'm getting Mexican, something, one of those like combination style dinners with some Spanish rice and beans, maybe like a burrito, something like quesadilla, one of those like combination things where I get like 6 things, or like the grande dinner or the special dinner, and as many margaritas as I can drink until I go to bed.
Okay. Okay.
Wow. You like really went hard there at the end.
Oh, dude, if it's gonna be what I want to, and I got warring factions in my belly then too. You know what I'm saying? Because we're going from the Great Wall the whole way down to the Yucatan. But whatever, brother. I'd be ready.
I might want to change I'm going to change my dinner to pineapple, chicken, fried rice, and a bunch of egg rolls. Is what I want.
Oh, that dude, when you're consequence free, that's when I could really get down with Mexican and Chinese, man.
Sure.
Like if I know that, like, if I got nothing to do tomorrow, I can, you can get yourself a nice, wonderful dinner that just puts you into a nice food coma, and then just deal with the rest of it whenever you wake up.
So yesterday, after we got done, and I'm gonna shoot on the house here in a second, okay? But yesterday when we got home, I ate about 3/4 of a can of nacho cheese queso and about 2 bags of chips. and if I would have had more chips and more queso, I would have eaten all of that too.
Wow. I haven't done that in so long.
You know what, dude? Was it that what kind of queso did you say it was? Can?
I think it was. I didn't prepare it. My mother-in-law prepared it because we came.
Or like, so maybe the jar or whatever.
It could have been a jar. It was whatever it was. It was delicious.
And dude, that's one of those foods, and there's several of them out there that while you're eating it, you can't stop. Yeah. And the second you're done, if it's after like 2 chips or 2 bags, you feel like hell for hours and hours, and you wish you never did it. But but while you're eating, it feels so good, dude. Every time I've ever eaten a Cool Ranch Dorito, I've felt that way. Like, again, if I have 1 or 40, I feel like Cool Ranch Doritos afterwards.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Anytime, I'm trying to think, that queso dip is definitely one of those. Buffalo chicken dip is like that for me too. Like that heavy. Again, man, going down, I can never stop. The second I stop, I wish I never did it.
You can just
that's
buffalo chicken dip. You could just eat like 17 pounds of it, and then you realize you just ate 17 pounds of it, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did all that. I hate myself.
Yep, yeah. You're sweating cream cheese and hot sauce.
Oh man. All right. Well, news.
Well, before we get into it, let's put this disclaimer out there, because there's a lot of stuff going on in our lives right now, and we wanted to talk about a couple more shows here today, but we just haven't gotten to them, man. And it's with Mongoose, I know he's got work stuff going on, and it's been really tough to get free time to do everything. I mean, we just bought a house. Recently we're in the process of cleaning that place out and getting the painters in there tomorrow, and the plumber came today, and the locksmith came yesterday, and the termite guy came today. So we got a lot of work we got to do in that house, man. But I'm just gonna say this right now. If you sell your house and you move out, do not leave shit in your house because you think the next people that own the house are gonna want that shit. Because we went through that house yesterday, man. It took 5 adults over 5 hours to clean all the bullshit out of that house and to put it into the garage so that a gigantic junk truck could come today and haul everything away, dude. 5 hours of work we put in yesterday, and we put in probably another 4 or 5 hours today cleaning that stuff out. It is fucking unbearable to me how inconsiderate people are sometimes and just leaving bullshit in their house for the next person to deal with. I don't think that woman ever cleaned that house one time the entire time she was living in that house for decades, dude. And we're in there taking blinds down. There's freaking spiders everywhere. It's like, it's like a haunted house. It's like we're cleaning out a haunted house. It's just unbearable. So if you're going to do anything, when you sell your property, whoever's listening to this, do not leave bullshit in that house for other people to clean up. Be a respectable human being. Get all your stuff out of there and be an adult.
Yeah.
And, life hack too, while we're at it, because you just spouting off like that. It was not until I moved out of my college apartment at first, whenever I first did my first, try to spend 3.5 years worth of beating this place up to earn back my security deposit. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of cleaning. And in that process, I upfront saw just how much grime there was. And so I said to myself, okay, when I have my own place, I'm going to keep up with it. Right. So then I move into my own place. And when you said the blinds or the windows, the windowsills, little even desks and stuff, if you vacuum all the time, if you don't move furniture and get underneath things, it is disgusting. It's public service announcement. It'll make you and your spouse closer. Take one day every 60 days or so and move your refrigerator and get all the gunk and junk out of it and wipe off the top of your windowsills and things that you never, so that you aren't living in just secret filth. Do you know what I mean? Because
Absolutely.
it is terrifying what accumulates there if you don't pay attention, and you could literally be around and the rest of your house could be squeaky clean. And then the second that you need to change the window blinds, and then you go and you just see this the dust bowl form in front of you. Terrible.
Yeah.
It'll make you and yours closer, turn it into a day, put some music on, and just make sure that the upkeep is so much better than it is to try to undo the years of damage that Andretti was just talking about right there.
They anchored everything possible into the walls.
That's terrible, man.
And dude, I'm telling you, if that woman cleaned that house one time in 30 years, I'll shake your hand. If you can prove that she did that, because I don't think she did. And here's another thing. Speaking of fridges, don't leave stuff in the fridge when you move out. How about we do that? Let's start small.
Yeah, that's a dick move. I can't imagine moving out of our house right now. I hated moving. I helped the brother-in-law chick. I've helped him move 3 times. I've moved once myself. It is the least amount of fun, and I know I'm gonna have to do it sometime again in my lifetime. But that is a big pro tip, Mongoose, for cleaning things. Set a reminder in your phone and then just do it the weekend. Those are really good life hacks for home ownership. And welcome to the joys of home ownership, Andretti.
Dude, the thing too, man, is it's not even our stuff. Is the problem too? It's not even our stuff, man. We're moving somebody else's junk, and you buy your first home, and getting the keys should be a really great experience for you and your spouse, right? Mm-hmm. When you get the keys to your first home, and then you open the garage, and it's full of stuff that should have been thrown away.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, it almost ruined the whole day, man, yesterday. And I had to keep stepping back and just checking in with myself, because I got into that garage and I started throwing shit everywhere, dude. I was so pissed off. I get in that garage, man. I was slamming stuff around. I was throwing around stuff like they were doinks, little dinks, and I was Bam Bam Bigelow, dude. And I'm in there doing cartwheels and splashes onto the freaking junk pile. It was ridiculous.
The thought of you doing, what is that NES game? Is that Superstars? The one with Bam Bam where he throws out those cartwheels?
I don't even know. I know that was that maybe that was that game. I forget what game that is.
Because dude, that is an all-timer. That was actually that was whenever I was a young enough kid that I didn't know that people jump from promotion to promotion. And so I was gobsmacked that Bam Bam Bigelow was in the game at the same time as Hulk Hogan and stuff, because I didn't know that they coexisted. I only thought that Bam Bam was the beast from the East that came back after Survivor Series 92 or whatever. And then when it was my friend, next door neighbor across the street, he was one of those kids that he had everything. He was the first kid with the game genie that I knew and all that. And he was just throwing around those Bam Bam cartwheels, and he was unstoppable. I'm on this right now. WWF Superstars.
It's kind of interesting thinking about him too, because you go back and look at those cards from those WrestleManias, and for him being such an awesome worker and so athletic, he wasn't really at too many WrestleManias, but I think he got hurt in one of the ones in the '80s, where he was supposed to have a decent sized match. He got injured right before Mania, I think, but I can't remember when that was.
Right. Well, and there's a couple of things. Oh man, and I would have to go back and do some digging through the archives, but whenever we were watching those Saturday night main events, I actually think that he was, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe he was one of the people that was supposed to be involved with like that Uncle Elmer group and all them. And I think that there was like a rash of injuries that might have derailed all of that, because that was what made Hillbilly Jim go away. That was what made Uncle Elmer go away. I feel like Bam Bam might have been involved in that too.
Well, I mean, they had those guys on there every week, and then he just disappeared.
Yep, and then it definitely did not help that whenever he then came back for run number 2, and then it was just on the wrong side of the click.
They had one of those guys. They drowned in a river. Do you remember that? And then we never saw him again.
The Uncle Elmer group?
Uncles, it was cousin somebody or uncle somebody that drowned in a river, and that was the last we ever saw of the guy.
John, I know that you went and you were rediscovering the new generation. That when we're in year like 4.5 of this show and we're just running out of cool things to talk about, we need to go back. We need to watch the Saturday night main events, and we need to watch the WWF Superstars from the beginning. Dude, those Saturday night's main events, you have no idea, dude. They did Halloween party costume parties. They're like Macho Man's Tarzan, Elizabeth is Jane, Mean Gene's in full get up gimmick. They're cracking each other all the time. They did Uncle Elmer's wedding. Yes, dude, they did Uncle Elmer's wedding. I like all of this on the wrestling, and people say that like, when did the hokey stuff start? It's literally been there forever, from the beginning of time.
It's been there since the beginning of time.
Yeah. And then Hulk Hogan comes out, dude, and you'll never hear a crowd erupt as insane as they do. And dude, those Saturday night main events are really, really great.
Well, to shout out what's going on here already is we got shout out Facebook Nick. He messaged us this week and asked if we can review Royal Rumble 92. So that is on the list of things that we're going to get into. We already talked about doing the Invasion at some point too. That was number 1 on the recommendations list. So if you're checking us out on YouTube for the first time, you're not going to get actual video of our faces because we are not prepared for any of that. But thank you for watching. And every single episode of the Podski is up on YouTube now. And it's been actually, the numbers were actually way better than what I anticipated.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Shout out to our brothers in India right now that are checking us out over across the Atlantic and the Indian Ocean, tucked away in there. So shout out to them. And so if you're new to the channel or you're new to the Podski, it's everywhere. It's on YouTube. Check out all the back archived episodes. And we're definitely going to start doing retrospective type shows to go back and on, because they're a lot more fun when you watch them together and you go back and then talk about them. It's way more fun.
Oh yeah, and I, not to give anything away, but we've spitballed stuff just in the group separately, and not only what I think would be neat would be, and I'm glad that you got a couple of suggestions. Like that's pretty BA. I like that. Yeah. But like what I would really like to do is like if we did a 1 week, I tell you guys my 3 favorite matches. And let's watch and review my 3 favorite matches. and then let's do yours, and let's do Andretti's, and let's do Milton's. Or like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that those kinds of things would be cool, especially if it's something where it would only be better if it's like, I would almost not want to do things that happen in the last like 24 months, because it makes me go back to like whenever I was so excited to make you watch Sean and Marty from the Royal Rumble, right? And I wish that now I could just, go in on that on a podcast, because the neat thing is like, if we take like notes of like what I'm thinking going in, and like, the way that, so yeah, I think that those kinds of ideas or stuff are really cool too. So fun things on the horizon. I like all this.
Yeah, and we were just spitballing off air here too about potentially doing weekly or bi-weekly updates of the G1 in the summer. So we might be planning that. We don't know yet, but yeah, we got a lot of interesting stuff coming up on the Podski. But yeah, do we got any other news that we want to? I know Andretti likes to hop in here on the news. You got something, Mongoose?
Yeah, I got two things really quick. The first one that I need everybody to know is, and quick warning for gimmick infringement onto the homeboy Andretti, but myself and the fam, we took a little trip down to Baltimore, hit the aquarium.
Nice.
Yep, absolutely wonderful day. And we ended the day, we were looking around for something to eat. Baby Mongoose only eats 3 or 4 food groups: pizza, chicken nuggets, quesadillas, and then anything with sugar in it. And so I typed in pizza places. We were right downtown, near the power plant live area. Got a hit back on a really highly rated place. And so I was scared to death, because when the pizza came out, it was not in slices, it was in squares, and the crust was deep and the sauce was on top. And my kid, she's very picky. She took a bite and she did not stop taking bites. And Mrs. Mongoose was over the moon with it. And so Underground Pizza Factory in Baltimore on the power plant live area, you got it going on. So that was absolutely wonderful. Detroit style pizza, if you're not familiar, deep dish, cheese on the bottom, sauce on top. We got the cheese for Baby Mongoose. Me and the missus had the it was something like, it's called like margarita explosion or whatever. So good. And then last one is the Mario movie comes out on streaming services tomorrow. It is $30 on Apple if you're an iTunes streamer. I'm telling you this, if you have not seen it and you won't go to the theater and you have kids that might be into something like that, or you want to feel nostalgic, I am dropping the $30 tomorrow. Like, it's that good. I've already seen it twice. My kid is so excited to see it again. If you haven't seen it, see it, because it's everything, especially if you grew up as I did. Super Mario was the first game I ever owned. But Super Mario World, that is, it holds true. There's fan service, but it is very kid friendly, as well as intriguing enough for adults to stay on. So those are my two big things.
Nice.
Speaking of things to check out, we're definitely watching that Mario movie. There's no doubt about it. Probably this weekend, but
it's so good. It's so good.
If you're looking for a show to binge that's pretty damn good, Rabbit Hole with Kiefer Sutherland is awesome.
Oh,
it's just
a bunch of stuff.
The first
out in LA
just ended, and it was great, dude. It's really great.
I need to get in on a show. So what if we're booking a little bit ahead here on the Podski, we're gonna bring back Allison to do a documentary, because usually Allison comes in and we do the documentary stuff with her. We only done 2 of those, but we're bringing in Allison back in because there's one reality show. I don't know if Mongoose or Mrs. Mongoose watches it, but it's Vanderpump Rules, and there has been some spicy happenings in that we've literally been watching Vanderpump Rules for years, and there's just some incredibly spicy stuff that's been going on, and they're getting ready to, and we're gonna do a show around the reunion, and I can't wait, because it's so good. And
to tie that to wrestling, what's funny is they've been legitimately impacting whichever night, Monday or Wednesday, whichever night they're on, they've been legitimately impacting wrestling show ratings. So that's funny you said that.
It's so good. They're right in Andretti's backyard there in West Hollywood too.
Well, I was gonna say, speaking of Allison, I might have a show for you guys to watch because I know you dabble a little bit now and again in the true crime stuff. Now, I don't even want to say the name of it yet, but it's only 3 episodes, and I'm only 1 episode into it, and it's really, really, really interesting. So I'm gonna probably finish that in the next 2 nights, and then hopefully by next week, if I think it's awesome, I'll recommend it for you and Allison to check out.
Okay, yeah, because I know that there's a new show on HBO Max with Woody Harrelson. Who, like, if Woody Harrelson's in anything, I want to watch it. It's
The
like
Plumbers, White House Plumbers.
Yes,
Yeah.
I want to watch that badly, but I want all the episodes to come out before I watch it.
Yeah. Speaking of Baltimore, in the pizza, do we want to spill the beans on what we're planning on doing here in the middle of July?
Spill it, brother.
So this is going to probably be an annual thing now for at least the 3 of us, where we get together in the summer and we go to an indie show. So we are going to go. This is what the plan is for right now. Knock on wood, nothing crazy happens and we, don't get derailed. But in Hollywood, Maryland, MCW, live and in the raw, the Podski 3-man band will be in attendance at that show. And if we can swing by and hit some Detroit style pizza and some Jimmy's chicken and crab legs, I'm all about doing that, man, for sure.
Oh, give me some of that Jimmy seafood. I want that badly. I'm so pumped for the B summer here to get started.
No, dude, the thing about it too, man, is I was looking for stuff to do in DC and I couldn't really find any like action figure stores to check out that look pretty good. I think we might want to just do Baltimore instead of doing DC.
Yeah, because I've already tried to look before and I couldn't find anything like toy store wise around the area. Like,
I didn't see anything either.
Because we did Long Island last year, which we talked about a few times here before, but like in Long Island there's so many places to go, but like anywhere out here we're at, and especially down into Maryland, there's like nothing.
And look, I'm super excited about going on that trip too, because I've never been south of Waldorf in Maryland. And there's a whole part of Maryland that whole like eastern part of Maryland, that is kind of like detached from the mainland side a little bit. I've never been over there, dude. I've never been over in that whole area, and maybe there's nothing there. I don't care. I don't care if there is or if there isn't, but I've never been there, and that's a part of the country that just one of those few places in the country that I've just never been to yet, man. I'm looking forward to checking it out.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So mark that down in your calendars, listeners. That's going to be around the July 15th. That's when we're going out. So hopefully after that July 15th week, we're going to the following week we'll have a little review ski show, a little rehash of our happenings at MCW. Hopefully we see LA Knight there.
I mean, do you want to just record that night? Why not just go get some drinks afterwards, and then when we're at the hotel and just fire up the Podski and record it right there like we did for Mania?
Well, we could, because I have two booms now, and then the only problem is we'd have to share a mic, so we could pass it back and forth. But I mean, it would be pretty easy with the boom to pass it back and forth. But yeah, we can.
Yeah, I'd be in, and because the thing is especially from last year. What did we do last year? We got all amped, came upstairs and watched a whole bunch of Creative Pro shows so that we could watch Philip Cardigan and stuff. So yes, what's that?
I was out cold.
Well, that's what happens. Sometimes little guy.
So was I. We all were.
Yeah.
That day was we got to the hotel, showered, watched a bunch of Rammstein videos for no reason, and then went and bought toys and went to a wrestling show.
I completely forgot that we just cranked Rammstein. That was awesome.
This should be better because the travel will be literally in half.
Yeah.
The time of travel. So because it'll only be 2 hours max to get to where we're going.
Yeah, it won't be bad. And even if it is bad, we can stop and eat and be idiots the whole way down there. It's no big deal.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We got Mongoose 2 things. You got anything else, Andretti?
I mean, the only other thing I wanted to talk about very briefly here, and I know you guys, aren't super up to date with New Japan, and I'm behind too with New Japan right now, but that show's coming up on the 21st. That's next Sunday. the Long Beach show Resurgence, which I already bought my ticket. Like, let me just explain to you how awesome this whole experience has been. So I've never been to the Long Beach Pyramid where Long Beach State, plays their indoor events, right? I've never been there. They've redone it. The seating is awesome. It looks so good. There's no bad seats in that whole freaking venue. There are like so many ways to get to the aisles. You don't have like 35 seats in a row where if you get stuck in the middle seat, you got to climb over 30 people to get to the aisle, right? It's really segmented well. And when I looked at the prices, I could not believe that they were as inexpensive as they were. They were selling tickets for $25 for that show. Now I got one, I think mine was 40 or 45, and I got an aisle seat, and there's nobody in front of me, dude. There's nobody sitting in front of me. I looked up my seat in advance. And I didn't even know who the hell was going to be on that card, but dude, I'm so fired up about going to that show. And I tried to get my wife to tag along, and she doesn't want to do it, which is fine. But I'm going to go down there. I'm going to go down there early. I'm going to go get good fish tacos or go get some pizza in Long Beach because there's a couple places down there I want to check out. But that card is good, man. I mean, I'm looking at the card right now. So they've got they're doing the 4-way for the women, the New Japan Strong Women's Championship tournament. And dude, I geeked out so much when I heard this because Mercedes Moné is going to be there. And in the first round, she's taking on Stephanie Vicaire, who's a CMLL girl who is awesome, who I've been telling you guys about for a while, how good she is. So she's going to be wrestling Mercedes Moné in the first round of that tournament. I'm super excited about that. And then in the other side of the tournament is Momo Kogo, who I'm not familiar with, against Willow Nightingale, who I love a lot. So that's
and Willow's going to be over insane.
Oh, there's no doubt, dude.
Like, that's awesome. What'll make that really cool is I'm assuming I do not know Momo Kogo, excuse me, but that A, she could probably go if she's booked for this, and B, we know that Nightingale can, and that crowd's going to go insane for Willow Nightingale. Yeah. So that's going to be great. And the fact you get to see Mercedes is awesome.
They're going to go nuts for Mercedes too, big time.
Yeah.
So also on that card is going to be a street fight, Fred Rosser and Juice Robinson street fight. So that's going to be, dude, that's going to be great, man. And then we've got the strong open weight championship. It's Hikuleo against Kenta with the rematch. So that should be a ton of fun. Also, what else we got here? We got
this trios match: Okada, Ishii, and Rocky Romero versus Moxley, Shooter, and Wheeler Yuta. That'll be great,
dude. So
that'll be great.
Did Chaos win those trios belts?
I didn't see the show, so I do not know.
Don't know
either, man. I'm not sure if they did or not. I'm assuming they didn't, since doesn't say that they're the champs on here. But I have no idea if they did or they didn't. But then we've got Hiroshi Tanahashi Ospreay in a 60-minute time limit match. Ooh. And that is for the number one contenders tournament for the United States Championship, which is going to be awesome. And then I guess this is the main event, a 30-minute New Japan Strong Women's Tournament Championship between the winner of Mercedes and Stephanie Vicaire versus Nightingale and Kogo. And dude, I cannot wait to go to that show, because by then the painters should be almost done. We should have the plumbers already in there. The termite people are already in there. Locksmith is already done. Things are moving in the right direction. And hopefully, in a week and a half from right now, it's just going to be a very nice experience to just go down there and just geek out and be in the moment and have fun at a wrestling show, man. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it will do that. And that's essentially going to be a double main, truly, because Monet has to be Money has to be in the main event, right?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense to not do it. Vince would have her get screwed out of it in the beginning, and then she would, you'd have to pay to see her come back again or whatever. But yeah, dude, that looks like an awesome show. That's going to be really cool.
I'm so excited that Stephanie Vicaire is going to be there, and she's one of the 4 people that are going to be in that tournament, dude. Because she hasn't been on any of those shows. She hasn't been on New Japan or anything like that. So it's really cool that they went outside the company to bring in somebody like her that can work her ass off.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's awesome. That show sounds like it's going to be awesome. Super.
I mean, I had no idea what that card was going to be, man. And that card has turned into something that's pretty damn impressive.
That is pretty impressive. Speaking, one last thing before we get into the Backlash review here, that is impressive is that AEW sold 60,000 tickets to All In already. Where they overpassed, I think 60. Is it like 63 now or something?
I mean, it's got to be.
Yeah.
It's gotta be.
I heard 65 the other day, but that was not like a non-confirmed number. I don't remember if that was one where it was somebody parroting what Jericho said or what. But regardless, dude, here's the thing: since they're over 60, then that means that no less than 75 will be there.
Oh,
because you know that when, especially the week of, again, we talked about this before. Dude, they'll do $20 2-for-1s to get people into that building the week before the show if they have to. And so who cares? The gate doesn't matter anymore because you've already made $8 million. Now fill the place up, and they're legitimately going to, and that's going to be awesome.
Hey, I said they weren't going to be able to do it, and I was worried they were only going to get 30,000 people in there, man. And if they can get 75 or 80 or 100, then, I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah. The only thing that makes me I'm a little sad about it is that I'm going to be out of town that weekend. So I'm going to have to catch it on the back end. But yeah, I'm super excited for AEW that they did it, and they're going to pack it out now. It doesn't matter. They made their money. So let's pack it out. And they didn't even have a match yet.
Well, and here's the thing is that they have a pay-per-view coming up, and good on them. The fortune is falling into their hands because last year at this time, it wasn't a knockout, banger build, but we were all excited for Double or Nothing. Mm-hmm. And then you had the fallout from the shows where the company fell apart for 3 months because everybody got hurt and, things had to change and this, that, and the other and blah, blah, blah. Right now, they've created so much buzz with this show that the build for this pay-per-view doesn't really matter. And here's why it's good. Your 120, 30,000 people are going to buy it. Mm-hmm. And because of buzz from the show. So now if this show is used almost as a launch instead of a reset, do you know what I'm saying? Or like a culmination, that'll be really interesting because then if they can launch this, then you go into Forbidden Door. And then from Forbidden Door, then you have these two shows. Like, I don't know, man. They've really lucked out in that they've created momentum without the product being on fire. So now my hope is that they can roll through this show and it turns into something where people aren't getting, injured and no one's concussed and blah, blah, blah. So if everybody gets out of this show healthy, then this hopefully becomes, the summer of AEW.
I mean, I would think we're probably going to get Switchblade in Finley at Forbidden Door, right?
One would assume. Yeah, one would assume.
So Finley beat Tama Tonga for that never open weight belt. I did see that. I watched that match. I'm a little disappointed that they're not going all in with Tama Tonga.
The thing is so here's the thing. You're right, and because he is a really good babyface, but I think that they're, especially with that main event being what it is for Dominion, you can tell, man, that they are, I don't want to say like they're trying to cycle through the next wave, but they're kind of trying to cycle through the next wave. And so he just might be an unfortunate victim of circumstance as to where, they just, for whatever reason, didn't want to give him the baton to run with, because I think he's a great, good guy. And I mean a legit good guy, not like good guy Tama Tonga whenever he was playing that up, whenever he was screaming the F word 1,000 times at every show. But I think he is an awesome baby face, but man, I don't know. I'm optimistic for New Japan too, especially going in to see what'll happen then after Dominion into G1. This is an exciting time.
I don't like him losing to Finley twice so quick. That's the only thing I don't like, because I think Tama Tonga is a star.
I saw
guess.
they had some interest with WWE, but it never nothing ever came of it.
Well, they're not hiring anybody right now. So they're in, aren't they still in like a quote unquote hiring freeze or whatever?
Yeah,
Ah,
you just wait. You
yeah.
wait till that merger goes through, and then people start getting axed left and right too.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that they're not going to do that tentatively because of the brand split, but
Mhm.
you know those days are coming.
Yeah, they haven't done one yet, and it's got to be coming. But all right, well, we'll segue into this Backlash review, which, man, I was excited for the show, but then whenever the show day came around, I was like, damn, I so as a disclaimer to our Podski listeners, we Andretti and I have been running hard with wrestling for the past 3 months, and WrestleMania was the culmination for me, and I haven't stopped, and like I'm starting to hit the little bit of a wrestling wall. So I was excited because I wanted to see the Cody and Lesnar match, but what they did on Saturday night, I ended up watching it on Sunday morning during the day. Holy shit. What a spectacle that they put together. Like that was a scene, and they got everyone talking about it. And so absolute kudos to the WWE for going back to a market where everyone is rabid wrestling fans. Like they haven't been to Puerto Rico in how many years? Like
18 years.
Yeah, I was just gonna say 2 decades since the pay-per-view.
and
So
to from what I heard is that they're not going back anytime soon, but they should go back. They should make that a once a year destination because that was insanity.
I mean, that crowd was on fire. That building looked beautiful.
It
What
did.
I mean, dude, everything was just firing on all cylinders at that show, man.
well,
Yeah.
and dude, it literally 25 years later, or 26 years later, it was the Canadian Stampede. It was every 10 through 30-year-old that was not watching during that time. They got a chance to know why everybody that's our age loves Canadian Stampede.
Yep.
Is because that Canadian Stampede card is so regular and that show is so awesome. And this card was so regular and the show was so awesome. And it was the crowd, man. It was absolutely the crowd. And I mean, I don't mean to call a Cody versus Brock match regular, but we didn't have a world title match. You know what I'm saying? Like there was no blood feuds aside from the ginned up thing that they did with Bad Bunny and that. But this show was 30 A's. It was a with all the pluses. This was so much fun. And I know, John, circumstance caused you to not be able to catch it live, but that was one of those ones, man, where like I seriously wished so bad that you were able to just hop in because that was such a fun, like you just in that moment kind of deal, man. Like that was great watch. That was awesome.
Way better. Way better than I anticipated it being, dude. That had to be one of the best. I mean, you said it best in the chat, Mongoose. That has to be one of the best B show pay-per-views that they've done, maybe ever.
Yeah, and you guys putting it over on Saturday night and seeing like at one point I had 180 text messages just from you two going back and forth about how awesome it was, like just live watching it. And I was like, I have to watch it on Sunday morning. And it absolutely lived to the hype. And you guys are absolutely right. This was probably one of the best B shows that they've ever put on. And I really think that you made a really good point, Mongoose, about this being like this generation Stampede. Like I wouldn't have thought about that until you mentioned it.
Dude, it is absolutely, it's the vibe. It is the insane from start to finish crowd. It is, and back then they had that ravenous, the Canada versus USA deal, Team Canada Heart Foundation deal. And this was just people that were here to love them some wrestling. And the best part is, obviously, they were uber super behind Bad Bunny and Zelina Vega. but they just decided we're gonna love us some EO. Dude, they were cheering Brock.
Yeah.
They like and just loving Brock until Brock literally whatever, like gave it to Cody enough to where they switched there or whatever. But yeah, this show is just so good.
I mean, dude, I saw something last night that the WWE social media had like 9 million views of Carlito's return.
Yeah, they
That
really
is unbelievable.
put up so much stuff.
Yep, that's another great point. Is that somehow the two biggest pops of the night are Carlito and then Savio Vega,
Dude,
which is
I mean, I'm still just in awe of the fact that we got to see both of them come out there and be awesome.
yep.
I popped huge for that Carlito return. That was so awesome.
How jacked is that guy, man? He looks like he looks like the heavyweight champion right now.
He's looked great for years and no one's known it because he just goes into hiding. But he did a lot of stuff on that show. He did a lot of stuff on Glow whenever that was Netflix.
Yeah.
And he was awesome on there.
And do you remember, was it like the Raw? It was one of the anniversaries, Raw 1000. One of those in the last couple of years where they brought him back really randomly. And it was like, holy cow, this guy looks like he can go. And then he just vanished again.
Yeah. And I saw a bunch of stuff from him on social media saying like, that's my favorite thing to do is show up, remind people, and then just leave. And then he's so awesome. But yeah, so if we're going to get into this match, this whole thing started off awesome. And I need to put over the lead into this show with that drone flying in. What a great idea.
Oh, that was awesome.
The drone flying in and then going over like through the building and then into the crowd. But what a great idea that was.
How awesome was that venue, dude? Like I had no idea that arena was as big as it was and as nice as it was. It looks that looked like one of the nicest venues they've been in a long time.
Yeah.
And that's the glory of WWE production too, is because they are so good, especially these last couple of years, like when they did that just this past SummerSlam in Nashville and a couple of other places like that, where they had all those years where every show was exactly the same. The only thing that changed was just this name on the lighting board or whatever, but whatever it be. And they are so good now at making these quote big shows and quote feel different and feel huge. And this absolutely, this was great. And I don't know if it is the building or if it's their production or maybe it's a little bit of both, but yeah, this was an excellent introduction. That drone in with that crowd get going insane was the absolute perfect start to the show. Absolutely.
The one thing that I do want to say about the production and the stage and stuff like that is that they've switched the model for these big shows. Instead of having an enormous video board where everyone comes out of, it's come out of the tunnel with the video boards around them. So they're like enhancing the crowd because they can get bigger crowds and they can show off that crowd because now the crowd is sucked in on that. On everybody as they come out of the entranceway, they're sucked in on them, and it's just a sea of people. And I think that's incredibly smart by WWE to show that because it makes it. You're right; it does make it feel bigger, and they can do little tweaks. Because though my only complaint that I will say about it is that the backlash entranceway was uber similar to Royal Rumble, and that like it had the big video board on the side and they came around the turn to come out. That's my only complaint, is that they're a little too similar. And that's only because I come from the Ruthless Aggression where like every single premium live event had a completely different look to it. Like you had the King of the Ring chair, you had the Unforgiven with all the scaffolding, you had Armageddon with the flames, and then you had like Bad Blood with the blood droplets. Like that's like literally the smallest of complaints that I would have about like at least the look of the show, is that it was too close to Royal Rumble, but I love both of them. So who am I to like say, but
I wouldn't have even known that, to be honest. I have to pay attention, but far enough apart that it didn't even catch my radar.
Yeah, I'm just kind of glad they're doing that because that is awesome that they do that. And I like the way they got to come around the turn because it gives them a completely different perspective of how they're getting to the ring. it's really cool. I really like what they're doing with the staging and everything now. But yeah, so we start off with Bianca Belair and Io Sky for the Raw Women's Championship. I mean, this crowd was so behind Io Sky. Like, there has never been a crowd more behind Io Sky than this ever was. Like, it was insanity.
And I listened to the Observer thing, the wrap up afterwards. And, maybe this is just me not knowing or whatever, like being a worker in the know. But they had said that, basically that the crowd didn't impact the match layout that the girls did. Like, it was still like Io get heat, Bianca come back, blah, blah, blah. And I thought that was really nitpickish. Everything that I heard all said, hey, this match was great, which it was. But that was their gripe essentially, was that like they didn't change roles. But look, man, me being a fan here, I thought that the way that they played to the crowd, the nonverbals that they did, like, to me, it seemed like they embraced the crowd switch role. And so while in theory it might have been Io getting heat, quote unquote, and Bianca getting a comeback, quote unquote, to me, I thought that it still played out awesome. It wasn't opposite of what the crowd wanted. The only thing that was awesome or opposite of what the crowd wanted was the finish. Is that I said that live, is that I thought that dastardly heel finish was stupid. If you're gonna have Bianca go over, then just let her go over. You know what I'm saying? Like, Io is allowed to lose. I mean, she was gonna lose anyway. That was my only complaint, was that I feel like that they sort of geeked Io out, and maybe, I don't know, maybe in their thoughts that they didn't. But if she's gonna be a baby face tonight and she's gonna be a baby face in the future, I thought that the way the finish was done up was a little bit out of place. But aside from that, this match was awesome. Aside from Io almost splitting her face in half, falling directly onto the mat in that one spot. That was insane.
That wasn't Io's fault.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you put people together to break them up, right? That's what you do in wrestling. You build a faction to split them up and create new feuds. I just think it's time for Damage Control to end this thing, man, and get them all a fresh coat of paint again, and make, we saw what Sky can do. People love her. She's a baby face. Push her to the moon. Split her out of that group. Have her kill Dakota Kai and have her kill Bayley at the pay-per-view, whatever, and then have her be a singles star after that. Because look, I'm very good with Kai going to NXT, or Kai and Bayley being a women's tag team, or Bayley getting pushed as a singles. Whatever you want to do it. But I think the time is up for Damage Control. They feel a little cold.
I agree. And I absolutely agree that it's time to kind of break them up. I really thought that even though with them coming down and they didn't really impact the finish of the show or of the match, I thought that, the good story of the match was that Io had threw everything but the kitchen sink at her, and Belair had a counter for everything that Io did. And Io never got the big move over. So that makes me kind of feel like, Io might, depending on how this goes, like Io could get another shot at it. She could get a rematch, and then that could lead to the breakup of Damage Control.
Yeah. And like, I do understand that they weren't going to switch, the call the audible or whatever and go with her, because they made, how many times did Bianca say, when I win this match, I'm going to be the longest reigning women's champ of the modern era? So obviously that isn't going to happen. But again, man, I do wish that people were reading the room enough to say, hey, you know what, you get either, or even to have the reason that they came out have been perhaps the impetus for the group breaking up, and maybe that's the way that it'll go. But yeah, like you said, man, Io gave her everything, and it wasn't because it was being cheered so much, it was making you get behind Io more. Yeah. And so that was what made the heelish, interference-ish, sort of, bullshit finish. It didn't catch with me because of that. And I thought that it made the finish fall flat, even though the crowd didn't care, man. They cheered Bianca, which was really cool, as they went from booing Bianca to death to just cheering her once she won. But yeah, that was a lot of fun, man. That was a great match, and it was a great opener. And I do give Bianca a lot of credit, because There are people that have been doing this for a lot less longer than she has, or excuse me, for a lot longer than she has, that probably would have been really shook up to walk out there ready to get cheered and just for no reason have a crowd boo you to death and cheer the heel that you're fighting.
Agreed.
And,
Yeah.
I thought she stayed composed well through it all. I really did.
Yeah.
That match was so good, man. What a great opener. Both of them just working their ass off, man. So good.
Yeah. And then next we went into Seth Rollins and Omos, and I wasn't sure what to expect with this match. I obviously I figured that Rollins would go over as he did, but I didn't know what they were gonna do. Like, what does it mean for both of them? Like, obviously they want to make Seth look strong because he's going to be in this world title, the new world title tournament, which is happening on Raw. They're starting it tonight. Actually, they started it already. Probably we're 42 minutes into Raw as we're recording. But for Omos, what does it mean? I don't know if it really hurts him, but as I was watching this match, the only thing that was going through my head on repeat was they're doing everything that they tried to do with Strowman, except only they're doing it better, I feel like, with Omos. And I guess for Omos, you just hope that they don't do to him what they did to Strowman and kill him dead. You hope that at the end of this rainbow, there is a pot of gold and you don't get, fiended or some shit like that.
Here's the thing, man. Omos's last two pay-per-view matches were his best two matches ever.
Yes.
Like, slam dunk, there is no doubt about it. He had a big guy match with a big guy that, look, if Brock didn't want to have a good match, they weren't going to have a good match. So obviously he needed buy-in from Brock. And he had a great big guy, little guy match with Seth. And if Seth didn't want to have a good match, then they weren't going to have a good match. And Seth was going to make sure that they did no matter what. But I'm telling you what, though, man, the other part about it is that Omos was there for both of them. And he might have not done anything to put them over to the next level, but he certainly didn't do anything to bring them down at all. I thought that the Mania match with Brock was perfectly fine for what it was, and this was perfectly fine for what it was. I would watch this match on a pay-per-view, on a Raw, on a SmackDown, whatever, at any time. To me, because it was too big, a big guy and a big star, perfectly fit fine on a pay-per-view. And if this was a TV main event, I'd have been an all-in just as fine. I don't want to see this third match on Raw or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Then I feel like you are geeking out Omos. Yeah. But where it was in the show, I thought that he looked great. I thought Seth was incredible. And the reason here obviously is you don't know who's going to win between Seth and Cody. So if Cody's going to beat one giant, Seth got to be the giant too. There's no other reason for this match to even be booked other than to be looking at that. But you know what? I'm glad that it was. I thought this was really fun and really awesome. And I thought Omos looked great.
Agreed.
Yeah, that guy. Look, I'm all about the attractions, right? I'm all about the attractions in wrestling. It's always been a part of the industry. I think Omos is great for as big as he is and as green as he is. I like seeing him out there. I like him with MVP. His gear is great. Seth's gear was great. I mean, it's there wasn't much build to that match, but I'm in to watch Omos with whatever they got planned for him at this point.
Yeah, and speaking of people,
he's going to need some wins though. That like
right.
Since he did lose to two of their probably five biggest heavy hitters. Now we got to get some wins. Yeah. So now you got to get up the geek babyface factory to eat some L's here on television.
Agreed. Yeah, and then to speak to somebody where segueing into the next match with Austin Theory, where it kind of felt like WrestleMania was supposed to do something for him, and it really felt like it didn't, versus how like what they just did with Omos at WrestleMania. It felt like it brought him up a level. Like, and now we're moving into the triple threat match with Austin Theory, Bronson Reed, and Bobby Lashley for the U.S. title. Like, it felt like the U.S. championship was kind of like on an uprise, like heading into WrestleMania. Like they got the Elimination Chamber match, and then you got the Big John Cena match, and then now at Backlash you get this triple threat match, and it was 6 minutes and 51 seconds, and I felt like it was sloppy, and I felt like I couldn't wait for it to get over, and I don't know who that is on, but I don't know if we've been saying it here for weeks, but I don't think that WrestleMania match did anything for Austin Theory. I think it hurt him.
I agree. I don't think it did anything for him.
Well, here's my thing is that match, that was the one that I had told Andretti in live time because he dipped out for a couple of minutes. And I was like, dude, you've seen the finish of that triple threat match 70 times. You don't need to see it. And that was my thing about it, John, is, to be honest, simply because I would have been irritated if I watched a 17-minute match that finished with Lashley spear on Bronson. Austin Theory throws him out. Austin steals the pin. You know what, man? If it's going to be 6 minutes, then it's 6 minutes. Whatever. Like that's 6 minutes. No harm, no foul. I didn't care. The only frustrating thing about it is that I didn't care. Like that's just it. Is that that match could or couldn't have been on the show. The good thing is that I thought that Reed and Lashley looked great, and Austin Theory looks great. It's just he needs, like, dude, Austin Theory, I feel like the fact that they had Cena call him out for it, I don't think helped at all. But he is in that waiting, Cena wearing your home city's trunks every week, like, purgatory, as to where they want him to be a star and he's not being accepted as one, and he's being treated as one. And then eventually people are just going to turn on him. And I feel bad because I think that he's got a lot of potential. He's got a hell of a look. That as far as work goes, quote unquote, that I'm sure that he's in their top tier because he looks like he's got WWE style down to a T. He's only in his early 20s. Like, he's got the whole world ahead of him. I just hope that it's not going to be over before it starts for him.
I guess I fear that he's going to get Roman Reigns or John Cena.
Well, that's sort of where he is too.
Yeah,
the difference with Roman and him, though, is that at least people really liked Roman before they really hated him. And then with Cena is at least he sold a gajillion T-shirts and brought a gajillion people to shows and sold a billion pay-per-views and did everything. The problem here is that this guy ain't going to do it.
Yeah, agreed. That's where I'm at. Like, I'm afraid that Theory, like, he's gonna get stuck in a purgatory that he's never gonna get out of.
Yeah.
And Andretti said that from the beginning.
Something's just not right. And I can't even put my own finger on what it is, but something's not right with that.
Yep. And like I don't know, because, man, especially in these last like 4 years, when they really pick somebody, they have not missed, man. Like, it's not, well, maybe they're not batting 1,000, but they're batting like 885.
Yeah.
And just the way that they've been able to reinvent and revitalize and turn both Usos into super duper stars. And then piggyback off of that, Solo Sikoa is, I mean, he ain't my cup of tea, but look, man, people are paying to see him. He's a final boss. I think that they've done amazing with Gunther and the Imperium. I think that they've done amazing, dude. The life that they've breathed back into Sheamus, for God's sake. You want to talk about somebody that was just dead as dead. And that's what I'm saying, is that, like, I wish that whatever missteps that they might have made, it's a shame, because he's so young. That's the other thing, is that he's young. And so you want him to catch on and then be one of those, Orton-ish building blocks or Lesnar-ish building blocks that you've got with you for however long. And I just hope that he doesn't spin out.
Yeah. And then moving on to this next match with Rhea Ripley and Zelina Vega. What a moment for Zelina. Like, this crowd melted for Vega. And
I made baby Mongoose watch the entrance. It was that good. She
was.
loved it.
Oh, she's
And
probably all in.
Well, and then she asked me if she wins, and I said no, and she said then I don't want to watch it. So then we had to turn it off.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but dude, Zelina crying, standing there just pouring tears. Awesome. And then whatever they were chanting, when they did that chant right before the match, whatever that was,
Yes.
and she's like, she's doing the fist pump to like lead the crowd. Oh, dude, wearing the flag, her gear was insane. Yeah, that was awesome. Absolutely awesome.
That was excellent booking on WWE's part to put to have, to start kickstarting the LWO and to really have like their coming out party be Backlash. Like, that's really good booking and planning ahead. And that's something that we feel like WWE hasn't done for a long time, but they really have been on it the last like year and a half, it feels like. And like, for this to be the coming out party for LWO and they weren't even in the main event, like what a great thing for WWE to have LWO. And
well, how about this for Smart though? You keep saying it's their coming out party. She didn't win.
No, but
so and that's what's even better though is that they didn't need to do a fluke title switch. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they feel like such a huge deal, and she didn't win that match. She actually kind of got killed to death.
She had no chance. She literally had no chance, but it felt important.
Yep.
That was my only complaint with the match. Is I didn't think they gave her enough offense.
Yeah, and weren't you talking about it last week, Andretti, too, about how like she's worked at a bunch of places that I like literally had no idea.
You talking about Vega?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know she has.
Yeah, and like I had no idea, and I almost was afraid that the moment was going to be a little bit too big for her, but I feel like she did pretty well. I mean, even though she got killed.
She did this tweet thing that they shared that was pretty cool, where it was stuff that I didn't even realize that, like, so she did the Meteora and she did it for her husband. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, so her actual spots in the match were like little mini tributes, which I thought that was really, really cool. She did the 619, she did the Eddie shimmy, she did the Meteora for Aleister Black. Like, so like when I heard that, I was like, oh, that's really awesome. It's a shame because the WWE announcers just aren't allowed to be good at their jobs sometimes to recognize those things. But yeah, I actually thought that was really neat.
That you just made me laugh there about the announcers, because in the next match that we're going to talk about, there's something that Michael Cole said that I literally had to pause because I was laughing so hard at what he said, but we'll get to that. But yeah, I really thought that this was a great first defense for Rhea post WrestleMania, because she had to face not an overwhelming baby face, but a baby face that was really well respected with the crowd. And I thought that this was really well done, and it was short, it was sweet, it was to the point. And I think it accomplished exactly what it needed to. Yeah, the only thing that
and to Andre's point, it would have been really cool to see her get like a serious, oh my God, and not put like serious, she's in serious danger. But even if it's one of those, like, I don't know, just like a legit flash roll up where you think, but aside from that, man, that was what it was. And the best part was that crowd wasn't going to let her be sad.
No.
So they took a potential down moment and just picked her right back up, and all was good.
Yeah. But yeah, and then we got to the big street fight here, which this is the water cooler talk that like JR talks about, her sassafras. I've heard about this match all over the place. Like, it's been everywhere. This Bad Bunny and Damian Priest match, the San Juan street fight. It was
dozens of stars.
Dozens.
Dozens of stars.
It's an early match of the year Podski nomination. It's already on the list. So you don't have to worry if you listen to, don't forget the award show coming up at the end of the year that we always do. This match is on a nomination for match of the year because it was awesome. We had
the one thing that I need to say about this is in live time when we were in me and Andretti were in the chat firing back and forth, and he says to me, Andretti says to me, okay, this is going too long. And what's so funny is then afterwards, I said to him, dude, it went literally 20 minutes longer after you said that. And it literally just turned into the match of the year.
Yeah.
Because there was that little spot in the middle, it lulled out. But man, I had no problem with it. That match was almost booked the way that they book a card, where it was like big and then down. And now we're going to go bonkers bananas for 16 minutes here to finish stuff out.
I thought it was perfectly paced. I thought Priest looked amazing. He absolutely deserves his flowers, especially with wearing the same gear. Shout out to Michael Cole for mentioning this in the intros. Priest was wearing the same stuff that he wore whenever he was Bad Bunny's tag team partner at WrestleMania. And what that pop for Bad Bunny was insanity. I mean, I haven't heard a pop that big since CM Punk came back at that Rampage show. And the fact that they were singing that song, it felt like you were at a concert. It didn't feel like a WWE event for Bad Bunny's entrance. It felt like a Bad Bunny show.
You know what it felt like? Are you guys familiar with that Lil Nas X whenever he shows up at that elementary school and the kids start screaming his Old Town Road song?
Yes.
You should drop that in right here. You should make note of drop that in right here, dude. When I need a pick me up, there's a kid in the front row that immediately, just all he's doing is just dancing as hard as he can, and those kids are screaming every word so loud that he came and sang. That's what that reminded me of. That's like one of my favorite internet video clips. But you're right, that was literally what that was like. Is that they, they could have just played the instrumental and let the crowd just sing his stuff.
And there's very few moments in WWE where that character steals the spotlight from WWE, kind of feels like, because usually when you see like somebody, they're coming out, it's a WWE show. Like this was like, he totally turned it into his show, and it like absolute, what a fucking get by WWE to get him and to get him to like wrestling and put in as much effort as he is. Like, whoever had that forethought 3 years ago to get Bad Bunny, and for him to not only be, the most streamed artist, of our time, and like him, like it was such a great get, and hats off to whoever's idea this was, because they deserve a raise. Like they deserve something out of this, because this was a hell of a get. Hats off to that person.
Well, and so the three things that I really need to point out, and not even talking about the cameos, because we can get to that, but the three things that really need pointed out were that the agent or agents, whomever laid it out, to have Bad Bunny immediately eat a finisher and he's going to lose and then get picked up, and then B, actually get his comeback on something Priest did to himself was the most perfect way to book Priest, because he's a monster. So he killed a dude to death, wanted to kill him to more death. So he picked him up for more pain. And then his undoing was something that he did to himself. Didn't get something, you know what I'm saying? Like, didn't get Bad Bunny, didn't study the crossface chicken wing in the dojo for months to learn. Like, Priest kicked the post, you know what I mean? And then that was the opening for it, because his leg hurt really bad. Mm-hmm. The other thing that really, really needs to be put over with that was that Priest is a large man, and Priest Priest sold his leg like Bret Hart in that match against, was it Diesel? One of those where Bret Hart just sells a leg for 19 minutes. Priest sold his leg insanely well. And then the last thing was whenever Bunny was going down for a pin, one of the things that marks me out every time is the thank you moments. And you could just tell that he's there like, my man, thank you. And so everything for Priest, man, because he was above and beyond. He was a super duper star. He was not at all hurt by losing to some skinny rapper. None of that's hard to do, man. And he did all of it. And that was really incredible.
Absolutely. I mean, hats off to Priest too, because there were a few times in that match where Bad Bunny laid it in a little bit, and it was it was a little stiff for Bad Bunny, and it was pretty funny to watch that.
Yeah. So I mentioned it earlier, but at one point during this match, I'm just laughing thinking about it, because Michael Cole said that Damian Priest was going wabbit hunting. And I cackled to the moon. I had to pause it, and because I was laughing so hard that Michael Cole said Damian Priest was going wabbit hunting.
I totally missed that.
Oh, I laughed so hard. Kudos to Michael Cole for popping me, because I loved that. That was so hilarious. And you rolled your eyes, but I absolutely love it.
Michael Cole got me one time because he just blatantly miscalled a move, and I feel like it was a Falcon Arrow that he called a match
because he called it a Michinoku driver.
That's right. Yeah, he called a Falcon Arrow Michinoku driver, and I literally texted the Andretti. Michael Cole doesn't know what moves are named. You're right. It was in this match. Yeah, that was the thing that got me with this one.
And then as this match was starting to lull out a little bit, that's when we got the big returns, and we got Carlito and we got Savio Vega, and I can't believe we got both of them. And that pop for Carlito was just as big for Bad Bunny. I mean, it was awesome. And that dude looks like he could just step right into any promotion right now and be a top guy. So kudos to that guy for staying in shape, and Savio for coming out there and doing a little bit of work too.
Andretti, tell us about the third person that made his cameo. It was whenever Savio shapeshifted.
Oh my God, he went Quang. He wasn't even Savio. He was Quang without the mask. Everybody keeps saying they got Savio Vega at Backlash. Dude, that was Quang.
Yeah. Dude from literally bailed from, or hailing from, billed from the Orient, came and manifested himself into Puerto Rican Savio Vega for that one. That was something else, man.
Dude, I hope that was intentional. I hope that he intentionally was like, dude, I'm going Quang tonight, dude.
Or that somebody in the back was like, brother, if they're bringing you back, go Quang, go. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, because dude, that was the thing, is that his big spots, he did. He didn't do Los Boricuas. He did Quang. He got two spots on two people, and he quanged them out.
I hope that was Hurricane Helms that put that together. Like he was
That's what I'm saying. I hope so bad that they pop the boys there. Now I did hear on the Observer Radio afterwards there, Andretti. I don't know if you did, but Savio was the promoter for this one. Like
Really?
he was he was the booker guy, like for the venue and everything. And so I'm assuming that because they were in his venue and he would have been the one that, was the go-between between the Puerto Rican Tourist Authority or whatever in WWE. I would assume that he probably got his hands in some of that agenting as well. So I don't know that, but that's probably something that we can learn in the Observer for a little bit more detail on. And I wouldn't be surprised, man. As well laid out as this was, it felt like it was so perfectly laid out for this crowd. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that was the case. Dude that's been involved in Puerto Rican wrestling for 35 years, that would make sense.
I mean, I'm looking at pictures of Quang right now, and Quang is like a cross between Villano 4 and Grado Khan and Savio Vega. Is what Quang looks like, dude. It's just on his outfit coming to the ring is so much better than I remember it being. Holy shit!
That's so awesome.
This is so awesome.
It is. I'll tell you what, man. It is an incredible. I'm looking right now too, and him standing next to Harvey Whippleman in this one thing, it looks like they just took the cape is just the tapestry from every Chinese buffet you've ever been in, and yeah, dude, this is. Man, we should do a Quang retrospect episode. We could seriously do it. Well, yeah. Well, I was just gonna say it's only probably like 8 TV shows long, so we could probably get that done fairly quickly.
Dude, look at this picture. These pictures of him in the entrance outfits where he's got this big star on his face.
Oh,
he looks like Grado Khan as the final boss.
Dude, there is somebody made a Facebook group thing here where it's written in Mortal Kombat font, like from the actual thing that you would climb up whenever you were in tournament mode, like from Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3. And it says Battle 1.
Yes, I'm looking at it on Facebook.
The Deadpool, and it's Mo from Men on a Mission and Quang.
Holy shit, this is awesome.
Oh, this is probably terrible audio for people that aren't looking at this, but Jesus, this is so
I'm putting
good.
this on YouTube, so if you're watching on YouTube,
Okay.
you're seeing it on the screen right now.
Holy cow. Yeah, dude, but that was Quang Me Softly, brother. That was something else. And that's the best part about it is that when the Judgment Day comes out, you assume that this is it. Like, I mean, this was me anyways. Maybe you guys didn't, but it didn't even click for me that we were going to get to see not Carlito, but then also Savio, even though we saw Savio in the back, a couple segments before. Like, it was just absolutely the most incredible cameos. And yeah, man, this is bravo. Throw your hat, 30 stars. This was awesome. And the crazy thing is that when this was over, I didn't care about the Bloodline match, and I totally forgot that Cody was going to face Brock.
That was the only things that was my only bad points that I could put about this match is that they put the Bloodline versus Sammy and KO and Riddle in the dead spot, and they legitimately were the dead spot of the show. And this was to get into this match. This one felt like. They did a little chant in the beginning, but it just felt like a TV show main event match.
Well, and here's what it was, dude. That's the reason why.
Yeah.
This match was about the Usos versus Solo.
Well, yeah.
Like, so that's why I felt TV-ish. It was a story match on a pay-per-view. Do you know what I mean? And so it was way too long to be a story match. That's my only complaint with that one is that I'm fine with it, man. Especially what it had to follow versus what it came before. No problem. That I just the Bloodline matches that really irk me are the ones where It's just beaten on, brooding on and on and on. Like there's been more than one Roman match during this title reign where I'm like, okay,
We get it.
we get it, wrap it up. And that was with this one. I felt like we could have yada a couple of the hot tags or whatever, and maybe trimmed 4 minutes off, but whatever, dude. This was fine, and especially because then it allowed the crowd to come the whole way back for the main event. But yeah, this one to me, when you said that triple threat felt long, this was the one that really felt long.
Yeah, this one.
But I was still so amped because of the Bad Bunny match that I was able to power through to the main event.
Well, the stuff with the tag match is setting up the drama between the Usos and Sikoa. And look, I know you're not a big Sikoa fan. I'm slowly getting there with him, but dude, they love that guy, man, and they're gonna push. They're gonna push that guy to the moon. I mean, I told you in the chat that dude's gonna have a belt within the next year.
I feel like I'm the only one that's high on Solo.
Well, I will say this: they're doing an unbelievable job making that Samoan Spike an insanely deadly, effective, very important move. So that is awesome to see that in itself.
Yeah, and I'll give credit where it's due. When he first made his debut in that Drew match, I was just like, oh, what a poop fart. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did not care. This is, what are we doing? And they have. And well, here's another guy, and we brought this up before, but poor Austin Theory, man. So here we go with Solo is being built the way that a man needs to be built, and here's this poor guy beats John Cena and nobody even cares. And Solo's out here just thumbing Matt Riddle in the throat.
It's just amazing how much in wrestling history there's a lot of that, where you think that this is the next guy who's going to be the next Hulk Hogan or whatever it ends up being, and then somebody else on the roster ends up being the dude. And that has happened in every promotion since the beginning of time.
Yeah, and
there's nothing wrong with Theory being an upper mid card, lower main card, baby face or heel for the next 20 years. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a hell of a career. I mean, Kurt Hennig never won that belt.
Yeah, I guess just for us, the expectation now is like, as fans, is like we need new stars, and WWE's kind of at that point where it's like their stars are starting to age a little bit now. Or not age, but they've been around for so long because they started so long ago. And I think that's kind of like where the mentality is coming in now.
Well, I think that's where I'm at with Charlotte Flair. She's just overexposure for her for the last 15 years,
She's overexposed. Yeah, I totally agree. But yeah, and that's crazy that match went 22 minutes coming back after. That maybe they felt that they needed to go long to let the crowd like go and go do the piss break, or take that second to come down because we need you to come back for the main event, which with the main event only went 9 minutes. So
that's what I think. I think that they didn't say go long on purpose. I think that they knew that main event was going 9 minutes, and they weren't going to give that crowd a 2 hour and 20 minute show.
Sure.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? So that was just it, is that's, you got to get your time somehow.
I do like the fact that they do a pretty long break before the main event on these WWE shows. I do like that.
It definitely helps.
Man, that what was that show though where they brought out Hardy? Oh my God!
They'll never do that again. They'll never do
that. That was such a mess. Oh my God! I've never been so angry watching wrestling all my life.
I don't even remember what show that was, dude.
Royal Rumble.
Was it this year?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. That feels like that was 3 years ago.
I know, but I love Hardy. I actually
2 hour long. We had 2 hour long matches, and then we had an hour long Hardy concert before the main event.
And that sucks because I like Hardy, and shout out to the nephews. Like when I'm working out every day down in the dungeon, they have me throw on "Sold Out" by Hardy, which was the Rumble theme song for this year. They're down there jamming out with me every single day when I'm clanging and banging in the basement. But I
was clanging and banging my head off the wall whenever he sat down and started strumming at 11:15 p.m. or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this main event, man, this is a prime example of like kind of less is more, and also that, you know, when you have not done something for so long and you do it and it makes sense and it feels real and it's like something you haven't seen for so long on a product that it makes it special. And by that, I'm talking about the blood. Like, when was the last time somebody bled like that on WWE television? Like, I can't even remember. Like, it has to be the early 2010s. And for, you know, for Lesnar to do that for Cody, I feel like really.
Well, the last one that comes to mind right away was actually Brock. Whenever they told him that they weren't allowed to blade, so he took his elbows and used them like razor blades and cut open Randy Orton's head and let him bleed buckets all over the place. That was what, maybe 6 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
But then we did see Finn Balor get his head chopped in half, and then they had to stop the match and reattach it.
But I meant
that was
not like accidental, you know, but like somebody like gigging. Like,
well, he didn't. The thing is with this is, by all accounts, he didn't gig. He went face first, and then apparently took his glove and yanked that bleeper open. Which, you know, I guess different strokes for different folks. To me, it would probably be a little bit safer to cut yourself with a blade than to bash a bolt in between your eyes. But here's the funny thing about that I noticed. And then I heard, it had to have been that sounds like a Brian Alvarez thing. It wouldn't have been a Dave Meltzer thing and the thing afterwards. But they brought it up again, and I haven't gone back to watch it. But when he starts bleeding, I remembered that referee having a towel and then like just setting it down. And so I don't know if it was the back saying, you know what I mean? Like, let him go. Or if it was the referee just seriously being like, you know what, if I hand him this towel, he's going to rip my arms off and beat me to death with them. So I hope so bad it was the latter, that the referee was handed that towel and he's like, you know what? No, just let him go. He seems perfectly fine bleeding. We'll let him go here.
He just took the heat backstage once he went through the curtain and just ate it from Vince.
Yep.
Poke him a towel. Like,
there is a funny part at the end where somebody just throws a towel at him at the end after the match is over.
Right, and that's what they wanted him to have it. They absolutely did, and it was either someone, you know, buzzed him from the back and said, "Buddy, you don't know this guy," or they gave it to him and he just thought better of the situation, which is like, look, man, I know that it's not good to have people that are above the rules and everything, but like, I don't know, man, to me, I love Brock so much that I love that he lives in this different Brock world where no one's allowed to bleed, but if Brock wants to bleed, then, you know, damn it, Brock's going to bleed all over the place.
Stop him.
Well, right. And here's the other really cool thing about that to me is that obviously Brock's making that call. Right. And so if Brock's making that call, he wanted to not only bleed, but Cody's such a worker, but he's rubbing it all over himself, dude. You know what I mean? So like, you know, and so, you know, that he is using that to enhance the match. And then he gets quick pinned, and so Cody's covered in blood even though it's not his, and so like Rock saves face, but he saves face in a way that was, I thought, clever. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was because Cody was he was getting killed, murdered to death, but he's crafty and he's shifty and he's going to be on this road to redemption. And so, you know, the way that he got it back too, and I guess I was wrong here. I thought that we were going to see the rematch of that in Saudi Arabia, but you know what? Maybe we will now if Seth goes for this title instead of Cody. I don't know, but that was why else I really liked it, was that I thought that we were going to get another Cody Brock match.
Well,
and if Brock really likes Cody, we'll see if we'll put him over twice or not.
Well, I think that already might happen, because from what JC sent me is tonight on Raw, so we're recording this during Raw, is that there was a triple threat match between Cody, Finn, and Miz. Shout out Miz.
Tell me Miz goes over.
Huh?
Tell me Miz goes over.
Well, I don't know that, but JC said that Brock was going to come out and fuck over Cody, and he said, "Give me the damn book" about 20 minutes ago. So I'm assuming that's what happened.
Yep, then that would make sense. Look, man, we talked about in the chat that if they're giving you 60 million per show, then you need to book these shoddy shows like the WrestleManias, man. And so Cody Brock, like after a flash pin, I'm fine if they go 13, 14 minutes and have themselves a mini epic. I'd be cool with that.
I'm so excited I love Crown Jewels now. I love these shows. What do you think of this? What do you think of this match?
You feel so dirty watching Crown Jewel, but you can't stop.
It's like a beautiful train wreck. You just can't look.
It's like going back to an ex. You just feel so filthy, but then you can't stop. Can't stop going to it.
So here was the cycle of shame with me and these Saudi shows for a long time, was that I get all amped. Like I day drink if it was during the weekend. Yep. I would be camped in front of the 1 year. It was right after trick or treating. It was on a Halloween. I camped in front of the TV, and I'm so excited to watch. And so not only would I just be getting the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia propaganda shoved down my throat, but the matches were all terrible and the shows weren't any good. And so then I'd be really upset that not only did I just spend all this time, energy, and whatever else into this, theocratic disaster, but the wrestling wasn't even good. Well, now the wrestling's good. So at least there's that. So I've kept the same excitement energy for the big shows, and now at least the wrestling's good.
Which is even better.
I can't stop laughing at the fact that they wanted to bring back stars that were dead.
Yeah.
When they wanted to see like the Ultimate Warrior and the Miz and Yokozuna and Drew McIntyre.
and what's even,
don't we all?
Yeah,
right.
We do.
And to add to that is what was even better, Mongoose, when we went on my bachelor party, was we drove the whole way to Pittsburgh, and as soon as we got in the hotel, we fired up that Crown Jewel with Undertaker and Goldberg, where Goldberg concussed himself within the first 30 seconds of that match.
Immediately, and then he was too sweaty to and me and Mark is just in too bad a shape to pick him up, and so they botched the jackhammer. And oh man, there was
so much alcohol involved that made that show so great.
Yeah, not even. Yeah, that match, that was something else, man.
I've never seen those shows. So what did Goldberg do to concuss himself that early in the match?
Headbutted the door on the way out before he even threw the curtain.
Get out of here!
He was bleeding. His forehead was bleeding as he was coming through the Tron. And we're like, dude, why is he bleeding? And then he goes to run across the ring, and it looks like something's off. And then he just launches himself like a long dart through the ropes, and then he just eats that post on the other side.
Oh my God.
Yep. So if he was almost concussed, he was all the way concussed by the end. And
what show is this? Because
if he was concussed in the beginning, it's not like he hit himself back to sense. He just hit himself totally batty. It is, I believe it is Crown Jewel 2019.
Yeah, Crown Jewel 2019. That was in June of 19.
Oh my God.
That was such a good show. Maybe we should do that on the
by good. Yeah, by good. That means it's absolutely terrible, but watch that match.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen it.
That's the recommendation of the week, is to watch that Undertaker.
Yes. Yeah, watch the Super Mario Brothers movie, watch the show Rabbit Hole, and watch Crown Jewel Undertaker versus Goldberg from 2019. All of this being on one of the best 5 WWE pay-per-views I've seen in the last 20 years. And that doesn't make our list of top 3 recommendations to watch. Yeah, we've spent an hour talking about this show, but please watch The Undertaker versus Goldberg from Crown Jewel 2019.
Absolutely. But yeah, that concludes our show today. That is the Backlash review. Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Instagram at _Podski. Make sure you're checking us out on YouTube channel. We got all the archive shows up there as well. They're in playlists, so you could start from the beginning and you can just playlist your way through from beginning to end. And yeah, so thank you to the boys for the 3-man booth for coming back on. Anything else before we hit the dusty trail?
I got nothing else, man. I got another day of putting in work at the house and trying to get this all fixed up. So that's what I got going. I'll probably fast forward most of Raw tonight, and then try to get to bed at some normal hour, and then get up there and meet the painters tomorrow morning and get this thing going.
Nice. Well, with that, we will see you next time on the Podski.